Amelia stared out the rain-streaked window. Her reflection stared back, a woman worn down by years of unfulfilled desires. Her life with David, though filled with love, was a constant struggle. They barely made ends meet. Their tiny apartment felt more like a cage than a home. David, a kind and gentle soul, worked tirelessly at the local factory. He dreamed of giving Amelia the world, but his meager earnings could barely cover their basic needs. Amelia, young and ambitious, craved more from life. She yearned for the finer things, for a life of comfort and security. One evening, as rain lashed against their window, Amelia confessed her unhappiness to David. Tears streamed down her face as she spoke of her unfulfilled dreams. David, heartbroken, could only offer her words of comfort and promises of a brighter future. But Amelia had reached her breaking point. The chasm between their realities seemed insurmountable. She longed for a life beyond their means, a life she believed David could never provide. Life had a way of introducing opportunities at the most unexpected moments. For Amelia, it arrived in the form of Edward, a wealthy businessman who was instantly captivated by her beauty and charm. Edward represented everything Amelia had ever desired: wealth, stability, and a life of luxury. He showered her with expensive gifts and whisked her away to exotic destinations. Amelia, swept off her feet, felt like a princess in a fairy tale. For the first time in her life, she experienced a world without limitations. The guilt of leaving David gnawed at her conscience, but she quickly suppressed it, choosing instead to embrace her newfound happiness. Edward's love, or what she perceived as love, felt like a lifeline, pulling her away from the drudgery of her former life. She convinced herself that she deserved this happiness, that she had finally found the life she was meant to live. Amelia quickly adapted to her life of luxury. She reveled in the grandeur of Edward's mansion, her days filled with shopping sprees, spa treatments, and extravagant parties. The poverty she had known seemed like a distant, unpleasant dream. She adorned herself in designer clothes and exquisite jewelry, each piece a symbol of her elevated status. Amelia had everything she had ever wished for, yet a nagging emptiness lingered within her. The joy she had initially felt began to wane, replaced by a growing sense of unease. She realized that true happiness wasn't about material possessions, but about something far more profound. One evening, Edward took Amelia to a prestigious business gala. As she mingled with the city's elite, her gaze fell upon a familiar face across the crowded room. It was David, but he was a changed man. Gone was the weary factory worker she once knew. In his place stood a confident and successful entrepreneur. He was engaged in a lively conversation, his eyes twinkling with intelligence and charisma. Amelia watched him from afar, her heart pounding in her chest. She noticed the admiring glances from other women in the room and felt a pang of jealousy. The man she had once deemed unworthy of her love had blossomed into someone extraordinary. Curiosity gnawed at Amelia. She listened intently as whispers about David's success filled the room. He had revolutionized the tech industry with his innovative ideas, his company now a global phenomenon. The realization hit Amelia like a ton of bricks. David, the man she had left behind, was now a force to be reckoned with, a titan in the business world. He had achieved the success she had always craved, and he had done it without her. Shame washed over her as she remembered her doubts and her hasty judgment. She had underestimated David's potential, blinded by her own desire for a life of ease. Section 6. The tables turn. The evening took an even more unexpected turn when Edward led Amelia towards David, a wide smile plastered on his face. He introduced David as his mentor, the brilliant mind behind his company's success. Edward praised David's work ethic and innovative thinking, oblivious to the complex history between his wife and his business partner. Amelia stood frozen in place, her face flushed with a mixture of embarrassment and regret. David, however, remained composed. He greeted Amelia with a polite nod, his eyes betraying no hint of the past they shared. In that moment, Amelia realized the true extent of her misjudgment. David had risen above their history, achieving greatness while she remained tethered to her past mistakes. Section 7. The weight of regret. As the evening wore on, Amelia couldn't shake off the weight of her past decisions. She observed David from a distance, admiring his quiet confidence and the respect he commanded from everyone in the room. The man she had once pitied now stood as a symbol of success, while she felt like an imposter in her own life. The realization that she had traded true love for material comfort struck her with full force. She had abandoned a man who had loved her unconditionally, a man who had possessed the potential for greatness all along. The guilt and regret she had suppressed for so long now threatened to consume her. She longed to turn back time to make different choices, but it was too late. Section 8. Life's Unpredictable Turns. The car ride home was filled with deafening silence. Amelia stared out the window, the city lights blurring into streaks of color. She realized that life had a funny way of turning the tables on those who dared to judge too quickly. She had assumed that wealth and status were the keys to happiness, only to discover that true fulfillment came from within. David, despite starting with nothing, had achieved both material success and personal contentment. He had pursued his passions, worked hard, and ultimately created a life of meaning and purpose. Amelia, on the other hand, had chosen a path of shortcuts, only to find herself lost in a maze of her own making. Section 9. A Lesson Learned. Amelia's story serves as a poignant reminder of life's unpredictability and the importance of not judging others hastily. It highlights the fleeting nature of material possessions and the enduring power of love, hard work, and integrity. As you reflect on Amelia's journey, ask yourself, what truly matters in life? Are we chasing after fleeting illusions of success, or are we building a foundation of genuine happiness and fulfillment? Life is full of twists and turns, and sometimes it's the people we least expect who teach us the most valuable